Welcome back to Thursday Thunder, presented and powered by Adrad Radiator Experts. Trevor Green is to my left, a bit of a South Australian, well, he's approaching legend status. He's been around a long time, but the bloke to my right is a bona fide South Australian Speedway legend. We welcome Chris Blunden, the former Australian Super Sedan champion. How good to have him on the show. Welcome, mate.
Thank you very much, Wade. Thank you, Trevor.
Yeah, no worries, Chris.
Now, how old would we have been when Chris was getting around Speedway Park, eh?
God.
This high?
6, 7.
Does it seem like that long
Obviously,
ago?
you looked up to me, yeah.
Oh, there's no doubt. As long as you didn't beat Kerry McCarthy, I was happy.
Well, Kerry McCarthy was, in fact, my hero at the time, Wade.
Is that right?
As well, yeah. And I cannot explain the thrill that I had when I first rolled onto the track in my E.H. Holden. And Kerry was in his Corvette, I think. Oh, no, Monaro.
Yeah.
And so it was a great thrill for me to actually arrive on the track at the same time.
Was it the Dry Creek Auto Wreckers car?
I think it was.
For me, there were some golden times at Speedway Park back then. And you think about the car count for Super Sedans, the two-car Corvette team of Robbie Marchant and Gary Reuter.
Yep.
How about Ivor Beneke? Every time I drive through Waikerie every week, I think about Ivor Beneke. Whatever happened to Ivor?
The FJ man.
Exactly, yeah, the old FJ Holden. He's still around, polishing metal and wheels and all sorts of things.
Oh, right.
But yeah, I've seen him on occasions.
And Graham Beneke, he was a great racer too. The list goes on, mate. You got Gary Reuter, Daryl Downing, John Crowhurst.
Yes.
My father used to race with Daryl Downing. That's how we first got involved in racing.
John Hughes, Brad Scotcher, and the little Pantera
Absolutely.
Di Tommaso.
Unbelievable. Brad Scotch is the only other guy to win a title too, Wade,
Did you
from
know
South
that?
Australia.
Yes, yes. Unfortunately, he was about 2 months younger than me, so picked me at the post.
It's amazing how many good competitors we've had in the sedans. It's only been 2 national title winners, really, considering.
Well, that was a massive era for South Australian Speedway anyway, and we're talking early 80s to mid-80s here, where
Yes.
it had its own television show on the 10 network. It had its own, if I remember right, there was even a magazine that was just printed on purely South Australian racing.
I believe so.
It was winged speed cars at that time. John Bolger was driving in winged speed cars, and
Yes.
solos, as you guys in South Australia say, were getting around. And sidecars were racing at Speedway Park. So speed cars were huge with Phil and Trevor March. Do you remember those days fondly?
Very much so, yes. There was just such a broad range of cars, broad range of people. You know, the bikes in the pits really just added a completely different dimension to what we're used to now. Unfortunately, of course, the track surface doesn't really, with the way the cars are developed these days, just doesn't suit. But yeah, it was a different period for sure.
Your car, the Monia Tiles #1 car, it was 15 before then, wasn't it?
Correct, well done.
It was burned into my brain. I've got no life. I can't remember my nana's birthday, but I remember what your car number was. That's an iconic piece of Australian Super Sedan history, really.
It is, actually, and I wish I knew where the heck it is. But currently, I'd love to see it again.
Put the call out. Anybody know where the car is?
We might. In fact, I almost had thoughts of being able to grab it and restore it, but we'll leave that alone for the moment. But no, you're right, and it's interesting as you travel around the state, especially South Australia, the number of people that do come up and say, "I remember the Monia Commodore." So it's been great fun, just even meeting up with people.
Well, pick up again.
It would be.
He was very good value to you, Monia, in case you're out there watching. Now, you went away from the sport for a little while. What happened there?
Got married, Wade. Wives.
Reeve?
Do you know anything about those, Trev?
No, thankfully.
And okay, so back to the sport now. Why?
Well, look, I effectively had 10 years off. I had one drive in that 10-year period. I drove for Trevor Nucky one night. And
Trevor Nucky.
Yep, another blast from the past.
Yep.
Still see Trevor out there from time to time. Got to a point where I really just wanted to get back into the sport. Didn't really have the resources, to be honest, all the time. And was offered a drive in the Dennis Miller car, which is the Camaro, which then ended up being the Rossdale Holmes Camaro. That was supposed to be a 5-week drive.
He knows his stuff.
He
I
does.
do, yeah. I was there. But that was supposed to be a 5-week sort of guest drive just to help him sort the car out, and turned into 5 years. So it really reignited my passion to be involved. And unfortunately that drive disappeared, so we've now ended up, my father and I have bought our own car, which is the Expert Vosbergen car, a
Big
bar
bad
car.
Bert.
Very much so, very exciting car to drive. So it's good to sort of be somewhere up the front.
Enjoying it?
Loving it, absolutely loving it. I can't explain how much fun it is just to be out there. We've had a couple of wins, picked up a couple of track records, and for me that's just tremendous fun.
Any desire to go on the national series?
Great desire to go on the National Series,
Great,
Trevor.
that'd be awesome.
Oh, it would be. Once again, funding is usually the
It's
issue.
tough though.
Oh,
How
the-
many cars are on the road now?
Unbelievable. Well, I think there's 18 or 20 once again this year,
Yep.
contracted drivers, 9 rounds, you know, once again extending from Brisbane right back down through to Murray Bridge, then back up to Parramatta, and it's great to see Parramatta back on the map again, with a bit of action for the super sedans on the East Coast. So it's, once again, it would be certainly a goal of mine to do it. Resources, time are, you know, thin on the ground.